super excited. Duane, you did something amazing this last weekend, and I like to share wins with people in this community. So I think it's amazing. Can you share with people what you experienced and kind of some of the things? Just start from the beginning, if you don't mind. I know you went to a beautiful city.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hyping me up there. It's very important that you have people in your life that act as champions. And Jason is one of my champions. He'll hype me up. He'll talk good, and a friend's blessing is a gift.
Yeah,
and
of course. Yeah, iron sharpeneth iron.
Yes, thank you. And what we mean by that is when something good happens in someone's life. Mm-hmm. Am I the type of person that's jealous and envious and resentful at them, or am I the type of person that tries to bring the best version of myself forward?
Yes,
and say, man, congratulations. I'm glad that happened for you. Mm-hmm. You deserve that. Good for you. And you need to have champions in your life. And Jason's one of my champions. And I really appreciate you saying that, man. And I got to go up to Taos this weekend. Beautiful city. Mm-hmm. And I got to give a talk.
That's a ski area in New Mexico.
Yes.
For people it's a beautiful city.
It's a high mountain town in New Mexico. And the parking lot, the ski valley up there is 9,000 feet. That's just the parking lot. And then you got to go up the mountain, to come down. And anyways, I got to give a talk on long-term recovery there in Taos.
14 years you've been
14 years. And that was also where I got sober. So it was a big homecoming for me. Mm-hmm. So I got to see people that I've known for 14 years that have helped me along the way. I always call it touching home base. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to touch home base.
That's so good.
And when I get up there, that city, man, for me, it's just electric. Like there's a high vibration up there. I feel really good when I'm up there. Beautiful weather. It was 72 degrees. My partner and I, we got a little casita, Airbnb, had a garden. And, I got to prepare for my talk there in the garden. And I got to pray with nature and go over my talk. And,
it's like we're saying talk, but it's a speech with a lot of people.
Correct.
So, you're giving a speech with a suit on. And so this isn't like a talk where there's 5 people sitting around. Not that it matters. Those are just as important. I'm just saying this is a pivotal moment where a group of people are coming to you. I mean, at one point, 300 people are coming to you saying, hey, we want to hear your expertise in recovery. You have a message that we want to get out.
Yes, exactly.
To the community in New Mexico.
It's an absolute honor to be up there and to share my experience.
What were some of the things when you were preparing for the talk in the garden? Was there prayer involved?
Yeah. So I just went over, my outline and direction of how I wanted the talk to go, and the prayer. Of course, was there the whole time. A very helpful one for me. This is a big event. And like you said, there's going to be a lot of people. I also am not like a perfect human being. Like I get nervous. Mm-hmm. And one of the prayers for me was, that's not fear. Big breath to invite God in. Mm-hmm. What is that? That's adrenaline. Mm-hmm. I'm ready. That's not fear. Mm-hmm. What is that? That's adrenaline. My body's getting ready.
Yeah, I heard a speech guy. This is really cool. He said, and that this helped me a lot. He said, what you're feeling, because you're excited to go do this.
Yes.
So and it's a positive thing for you. So it's not a negative feeling like fear. No, it's just excitement.
Fear. That's excitement. That's adrenaline. My body's getting ready.
Yes.
So I prayed in the garden, and a lot of it also, of course, was our prayer. God, help me say something that will help somebody else. Mm-hmm. God, help me say something.
Being of service.
So that was the whole point. If one person hears something that can help them, it was worth it. It was worth the trip. It was worth the nerves. It was worth the preparation. So I got to prepare in the garden. I was there with my partner. It was just beautiful. We went to the meeting, and there's this big hall. Mm-hmm. And my best friend was up there. One of the guys that I got sober with.
That's so cool.
And he grabbed 7 people that I know really well, that I've known for 14 years. And we held hands. And we stood in a circle. And they prayed me up. And they got to invite God into my talk. And, a gentleman that I really look up to, a spiritual advisor for me, he led the prayer and said some very insightful words. And then my best friend said, no, everybody. And everyone went around the circle, taking turns, praying. And
what a moment,
inviting spirit into the activity I was about to do.
I mean, the activity's fun, but
I felt so blessed, bro. It was like I've never been.
I'm getting goosebumps.
I've been a part of that kind of stuff, but I've never been a part of that stuff like that directly, and that in a position to share my experience and them wanting to be involved in that.
Right. Yes.
Like it was so beautiful, and I felt so touched and moved. And I was crying there in the circle, just holding their hands. And then I got up on stage to give this talk. No nerves.
That's so
completely
good.
gone.
That was a God thing.
Dude, it was gone. Like the nerves and the excitement. I was nervous all morning. I dropped 3 things in the shower. Like just taking a shower to get ready. I dropped 3 things. I was
crazy.
Counting because my hands were shaking.
Yeah.
And I was nervous watching other people give their presentation. But when I got up there after that prayer, it had left. It was removed. They and us, we tapped into the right power. And maybe I was able to be a channel for God's message. And by the time my talk was done, there was over 300 people in the room.
What were some of the things like that you were really wanting to get out there?
You know what?
For other addicts?
The healing message that it's available for us in recovery is what I was trying to focus on. And the miracle, the God deals, like that prayer was a God deal. And so I tried to touch on God deals. And you and I talk about this type of stuff all the time. You've been instrumental in this recovery a journey for me, Jay. And this last year, you've challenged me a lot. And one of those challenges has been to focus on love.
Yeah, that's
Bro, I've never focused on love in my life. I focus on abundance, success, forgiveness, resentment, anger, all that stuff, fear. We've focused on many principles in recovery, but never.
We're going to the highest vibration. We're moving on.
Take it to the top. It's like, why not? Love. So I told, some stories around that. Like, I own a personal training business, and I am in the gym a lot. One day, this guy came in, and this is some bald guy, and his head had like a trauma. Like I could tell there was like a little deformity on his head. And it's my instinct as a selfish, self-centered addict to be superior. And I started judging him. And I was like, look at this guy. He didn't know what he's doing.
I do this all the time.
And then he started moving around really sporadically. He started shadow boxing in the gym, and he started throwing like shadow punches.
And that's not that type of gym.
No, it's just weights there. But now I'm really judging him. I'm like, this crazy mother. He needs to get the hell away from me. If this guy comes any closer to me, I'm taking him out. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. And the challenge that we've presented one another this year, inviting God into the situation, inviting love into the situation, I caught it. I caught my judgment. I realized I was judging him. My ego wants to judge. My spirit can be the observer of the judgment. I caught it. And I put spirit first in that moment. And I said, God, help me not judge. God, help me not judge. God, I hit it like a mantra. God, help me not judge. In that moment, Jay, he walked around in front of me, put his hand out, and gave me a fist bump. And he said, looking good, my brother. And he wanted to be my brother.
Yeah.
The moment I invited God and love into the situation, I got a brother. Instead of, do I need to fight for my life? Am I prepared for battle? Don't you know who I am? I'm superior.
I don't think we actually, whether you're Christian or whatever, it doesn't matter religion. No. I don't think we actually believe the power that we think that we have. We don't understand how much that love can influence others. That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
When you're to service to others, the whole idea is to change.
Yes.
And I mean, to change those that are around you, like in a positive way. And so that when you walk into a room, just as Jesus is a prime example of this, when you walk into that room, when Jesus walked into the room, everybody got uplifted.
Yes, they tried.
It's like Oprah. Everybody gets a car.
His vibration, his vibration, her vibration is so high. People are inspired to match the vibration.
Yes.
So another way that I like saying it is both are strategies. Like judging him and being superior in my ego, that's a strategy. But it might be a losing strategy. And in the moment I invited God in, asked for divine inspiration. That's a strategy too. And my world got bigger. I didn't have to fend for my life. Like my world got bigger. I had to hide my face, bro.
Yeah.
My head dropped and I started to cry. There in the gym.
So that's such another God moment. Like it's like, because you can switch your addiction around. Like you can be an addict to judging.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
I guarantee you we all are.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I know I am.
Every
yeah.
single thought is a judgment. Whether we like it or
I
not.
judge people all the time, and it's
Yes.
like I just have to break that. Now I've gotten a lot better with like, let me replace this with love. What does that look like?
Yeah,
And then
yes.
if the thoughts of judging, I have to replace them with thoughts of love. I don't know where this person's gone through in their life. I have no idea, and they're better at things than I.
Yes.
You know, it's like
Yes.
my partner. She's way more patient than I am. I had
Yes.
talked about that earlier at the gym. So what were the other, like, okay, it was love. That was kind of the theme of the talk. What was like what do you feel like? I know your partner was there and your friends were there. What did they share what they took out of it, or what do you feel like resonated? What hit? What landed?
You know, they all gave me a congratulations, said, wonderful job, you knocked it out the park, and whatever.
Right.
You know, I don't want to boost my own ego. One of them said that what landed for them most was the message of humility. And that anytime I walk into a recovery program or anytime I'm seeking any type of help, that takes humility. And anytime I try and do something to better myself and I don't know how to do it, that takes humility.
Yeah.
And this humility is a misunderstood word. And if I asked you to describe this room, you would tell me, oh, well, there are 4 walls.
Right.
There's white paint. There's
Computer.
computers.
Yeah,
two
yeah.
people talking
Yeah.
with microphones.
Microphones, yeah.
And most people would describe it that way, and they would miss the most obvious part of the room. And the most obvious part of the room is the space that makes this room possible. You couldn't have the room without the space. Well, when we're trying to practice a recovery program, the thing that makes that possible is humility. Humility is the space, the non-tangible thing I can't touch that's going on in between you and me right now. Humility makes my possible change, makes my change possible.
That's so good.
Yeah, if we don't have that non-tangible thing in the mix, that magic piece in the mix, I'm not getting any better, because then it's still Duane's way. I have to be willing to get help from some other source, some other podcast, some other religion, some other God.
The surrendering.
Something other than me. I have to find a new way. And that takes a lot of humility. But if we start living that way of life, we start to experience freedom.
I feel like humility, like I'm doing this whole love thing, like just really looking at people. And when I get these emotions that come up, the positive, eternal emotions that coming from my higher self, there's a humility in that, because you realize, like, oh fuck, here I thought for so many years I was so such the fucking man, so powerful, so this, so that, you know, in my ignorance.
Yes.
And then there's so much potential, and it's just humbling. You know, it's like looking at the night sky, you know, or seeing, you know, that's like, here you are in the shower. I saw this meme. It said, here you are in the shower crying, but it shows the huge galaxy. Then it shows like a little dot of you, you know, when you see the insignificance, but then also it's like, there's so much abundance of love that God has given us, so much grace. None of us I don't deserve to be here. You don't deserve to be here. I should have died 500 times in the Marine Corps. You should have been dead in a ditch, but yet the grace of God gave us the ability to be able to talk to you guys, or for you to stand on a stage and be a blessing to 300 people. How much humility? There's a gratitude that comes with humility.
Absolutely. It's the undercurrent of everything we do if we're sincere in recovering.
Sincere, yeah, that's a key word.
If I'm sincere about it, like I'm gonna live this way of life. Humility is underneath every single thing we do.
I think it's a byproduct of just, you know,
Living a good life.
Yeah, living a good life.
I'm not trying to stomp you out.
That's so cool. Would you imagine, we'll close on this because we've got to go and you've got to pick your daughter up from school, but could you imagine you being 14 years ago, you being in a ditch in Taos, laying in a ditch, being in a hospital with a dead man's pair of shoes on, to standing on stage talking to 300 people?
It's an absolute miracle. It's an absolute miracle.
That's so cool.
Yeah. God and the God consciousness inside of me is capable of that. We like to call it an inconceivable level of selflessness. My soul knew that was possible.
Yes.
But Duane and his ego, I would never in a million years guess that.
Well, next step is 3,000 people, bro. That's the next one.
God willing.
Talk to you guys later.
Later.
Yeah, that's what I thought.